Hello, my name is Lovisa and I run Traceless in Tiveden. Today I want to show you 3 ways to load a kayak on top of your car if you're alone. It's always best helping each other out lifting kayaks and canoes, but sometimes you simply don't have those extra pair of hands, and it's good to know how to deal with this on your own as well. This first one is for the gym rats, or those of us with a little bit of core strength. One hand in the cockpit, one hand underneath the kayak, and lift her up. Before I lifted her up, I pulled the pipe insulations out so that they covered the end of my rails, so the rails won't make mark on the bottom of the kayak. And basically the same thing when I take her down, pull the pipe insulation out to cover. One hand underneath, one hand in the cockpit, back away, and gently put her down. And there we are. But if this is your main go-to, you probably didn't click this video. So we're going for the next one. And here we use a stick, or in this case a garden rake. And now I just put the garden rake underneath one of my side rails. If you can do both, great, I couldn't. I'll pop in a picture so that you can see properly. I check so that it's stable. And then I grab the back end of my kayak, put it a bit closer. Yeah, it's looking good. So we're just gonna lift it up on the little rod and lean it there. I find this technique a bit fiddly, but yeah, if it works for you, it works. Now I lift the front end of my kayak, balancing it on the rod, and then pushing it over onto my rails and pushing the kayak backwards and in place. Then I can remove the garden rake and we're done. The next one is probably my favorite. You only need a towel or a small carpet, but I like the towel best. It's easy to stow away in your car later on and bring it along if you're going on a solo adventure, for example. Once I'm happy with my placement of the towel, I lift my kayak and then lift the front end on top of the towel. And now I can go with my hands using the cord along the sides of my kayak and push the kayak in place. And this is by far the most accessible way that I know of to get the kayak up. So this was 3 budget versions on how to load a kayak on your own. I know there are different contraptions on the market, but I like to keep things simple, and especially in a gear-heavy activity like kayaking. So, now that I'm fastening the kayak, I usually prepare my straps beforehand. And I fold them in half, lift them over the kayak, like this. There we go. And now I want to put my strap underneath the side rail as well as the top rail. If I only do the top rail, and especially if I do it inside like this, the kayak will move sideways, and you don't want that, especially in high speed. So underneath both rails, and this goes especially if you're going with a kayak solo. Strap her in, but not too tight. You don't want to cinch the bottom, otherwise it might stay like that, and especially in hot weather. If I don't have energy to take care of my kayak right away when I get home from like an evening trip, I loosen my straps and leave the kayak on my roof. Of course, this is not how you do it in the city, but I'm living in the countryside. I'm living in the forest, so we're good. So strap her in, not too tight. And if I'm just going a short distance and in low speed, it's like less than 50 kilometers per hour, I just put the strap into the door and ta-da, we're ready to rock. But if we're going a bit further and in higher speed, I wrap the strap around like this and just hide the end underneath and pull that tight and nicely. There we are, ready to rock. That these 3 techniques have been around for a good while. I did not come up with them. But I see the questions reoccurring on Facebook, especially amongst fellow female paddlers. So I thought I'd just collect them and put them in one video so you can pick and choose whatever suits your needs. And that's it for today, friends. I hope you learned something new or got inspired to get out on adventures. See you next time in my neighborhoods.